Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday, so it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. Today, we're just going to do tips and tricks, not treats. No cooking today. Has it occurred to you that Thanksgiving is like 3 weeks away? And you may be expected to produce a huge dinner for everybody. So today we're going to talk about how to plan for Thanksgiving and some things you may or may not already have, or maybe you didn't even know existed to help you with your Thanksgiving. When you start thinking about Thanksgiving, the first thing is not to head to your kitchen, but to sit down at your computer or with a tablet in your kitchen table and make a list. Who's coming for Thanksgiving? How many people are you expecting? What time of day are you going to feed them? How are you going to get all this stuff done? The who and the when is most important to me, because if you have 25 people, that requires a whole different set of skills than somebody who's having 6 people for Thanksgiving. But the timing, this is not a hard dinner, nothing's particularly difficult to do, but trying to get it all finished in a timely fashion is where you get tripped up. So if you want to sit down and have everybody come at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to eat, then you need to say, how big is my turkey? When do I need to start it cooking so that it will be done when everybody gets there? So that's an important thing. What's on your menu? Are there family favorites that you just cannot not have because you always have that? Or are you a group that likes to mix things up and try different and exciting things? Figure that one out. Are you going to be able to ask people to bring something? Can you assign mashed potatoes to somebody? Can you assign rolls to somebody? Are there things that you love to fix and you like your recipe best, but you can assign the other things? That's another thing to consider. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with buying some things already done. But if you do buy a dinner totally done, put it on your own containers before you serve it so that they won't think that, so that they'll know you did it. What else was I thinking about? Those are my biggies in terms of what to consider. The last thing on my mind is always setting the table and getting out the serving utensils, serving platters. I know a lot of people start with that. I want to get the food finished, then I'll figure out that part of it. So to that end, I want to talk a little bit about equipment. Biggest question we get this time of year is turkey roasters. Will it fit my bird? Well, just like people are different sizes when they're different weights, it might not. My biggest concern is, will it fit my oven? Because if you don't have a very big oven, this roaster may or may not even go in your oven, and if it does and it has a bird in it, you may have to take some oven shelves out. So play with that before it's loaded with a turkey and you're trying to put it in the oven and you realize, oh my gosh, it doesn't fit. Most turkey roasters now are not covered. When my mom was doing all of this, every roaster came covered. I don't think we have a single covered roaster. So what happens is you put your bird in, season it, do all the things that you're going to do, and then wrap it very tightly with heavy duty foil. And then almost before it's done, unwrap it so that it will brown. That's just how it's done now. These roasters happen to come with a rack already in them. If you have a roaster without a rack, this rack is an adjustable rack. It can be flat or it can be set at an angle so you can have a V. There's also a ready-made V rack. So if you've got a deep pan, you may just need a rack and not a roaster. Please, 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 if you're going to use an aluminum roaster, there's nothing wrong with those one-shot aluminum roasters, put it on a cookie sheet. Because by the time you have a 15 to 18 pound turkey in a not very sturdy aluminum pan, you can burn yourself so badly you don't want to do that. So put it on a cookie sheet or use something a little bit heavier. Some other things to consider equipment-wise with your turkey. If you like to baste, of course, we have more than one baster option. Stainless steel baster with a brush to clean it, a plastic baster with a silicone bulb, and a glass baster. And that just lets you suck up the juice and put it back over the bird to keep it moist and lovely. If you like to smoke your turkeys or cook them outside, a lot of times they ask for you to inject them with flavoring. There's a couple kinds of injectors. What's at the bottom are thermometers. You might want to check your oven thermometer, might want to check and make sure your oven is accurate before you get started. And all you need to do with that is put the oven thermometer in your oven, set your oven for 350. When the oven says it's ready, look at the thermometer. If it says 350, then you match. If it does not, then you might need, if it's within about 25, 50 degrees, you can adjust your oven. If your oven says it's 350 degrees and your thermometer says it's 250 degrees, probably need to call a repairman. The rest of these are just thermometers. There's a thermometer that you put in, the probe stays in the turkey, the unit stays outside, and it lets you know how long it's been cooking and when it's done. The instant read food thermometer, same type thing, a little bit more accurate. And then the most basic is an instant read analog. You want to know what's going on in your turkey. So picture your turkey. You want to stick the thermometer in the breast in the thickest part of the bird, because the legs are probably done, but the inside may not be. And there's nothing worse than it looks beautiful and you put the thermometer in and realize it's nowhere close to being done. So thermometers, basters, those are all good things for the turkey. So you want to make gravy. These handy dandy things are gravy separators. You take all the drippings that have been created and you pour it in either one of these, and what happens is the good part sinks to the bottom, the fat rises to the top. In this style, when you pour, what you're pouring off is the good things and the fat is staying behind. This has a strainer if there's any little pieces of veg or something that's in there. It also has a plug so it doesn't blub out when you're pouring it in. This one, they said, well, we can take that and make it even nicer. And this one, same strainer at the top, but what happens is you depress the little lever and the good stuff comes out the bottom. And that just allows you to strain your gravy so that you don't have as much fat in your gravy. So what are you going to put your gravy on? You're going to put your gravy on mashed potatoes. So, of course, I have to just put regular peelers because, you know, if you're going to peel a lot of potatoes, get a peeler that you're comfy with, or get multiple peelers and put your kids to peeling the potatoes. Y-shaped peelers, the most standard, been around forever, metal peeler. OXO does a comfort grip peeler. This is a ceramic bladed peeler, which is super sharp. Whatever you like to use, peel them. Cook them, usually in salted water, drain them. Just like you save pasta water, often when you do a pasta dish, save some of your potato water, because if your potatoes need a little thinning out, that gives it a great flavor and adds a little richness to it. You can mash your potatoes multiple ways. You can use your stand mixer. If you use a stand mixer, do not use the wire whip, use the flat paddle. Don't use your food processor because it goes so fast that your potatoes will turn into glue. We have a lot of standard potato mashers, just the basic plastic one if you're using a non-stick vessel so that you won't damage it. And then this is the traditional waffle. And we also know and sort of forget it periodically. If you like to do your own refried beans, this is a great bean smasher. These are potato ricers. You're not making rice, you're making potatoes that look like rice. So what happens is you put your cooked potatoes in here, works like a big garlic press, squish it into your bowl, then you add your seasonings, your milk, your butter, whatever you add them to. This is a jumbo one with one size hole. This is a little bit smaller one. It has two different sizes of grills. So you can do a little bit coarser and a little bit finer. Again, what you're used to, what you like. If you want to assign potatoes to somebody else, go for it. There's no shame in doing that. This is a food mill, which is another thing a lot of people use to do their mashed potatoes with. What we sell these for mostly are mashed potatoes, red chili sauce, and tomato sauce, and applesauce. So it's a multi-use tool that you may or may not need. It depends on how often you do mashed potatoes and how you like them. So I'm skipping a lot of vegetables. I'm skipping a lot of those things. But pie. What's Thanksgiving without pie? So if you're going to make a pie, you're going to need something to roll it out on. And I particularly like, it's rolled up right now. I particularly like this. This is a silicone rolling mat. You put it down on your counter. It has the circles to tell you how large you got it. It has a ruler on it. It doesn't wiggle, so it stays flat when you're using your rolling pin. I put out 2 rolling pins. This is a standard size 12-inch barrel, 12 by 2. This is what's called a baker's pin. And a baker's pin has no handles. Depends on what you're comfy with. Even if I use a frozen pie crust, and I am not above doing that, I usually roll it out a little bit because they're a little too thick for my taste. So rolling pin's a good thing to have. Rolling that rolling pin. To make your pie dough, this is called a pastry blender. They always say use 2 forks, use 2 knives, or a pastry blender. This allows you to work the cold butter and the cold shortening into your flour, and it gives you when it says makes pea-sized lumps, that type thing, that's the tool that does that. So you've made your dough, you've rolled out your dough, you've filled your pie. What I didn't bring out are pie weights. A lot of times if you're doing an open face pie, it calls for blind baking or baking the pie crust empty. Pie weights are a good thing for that. Otherwise, fill your pan, put your goodie in it, make your pretty little crust. Then, in order to not burn that pretty little crust, there's a variety of pie crust shields. And I'm so silly that the first time I used it, I didn't read the instructions. So I waited till it was starting to burn and then I put it on. The instructions say put it on to start with, and about the last 10 minutes take it off. And that way you get a nice crust on the nice golden crust on the edge and it doesn't burn. This one fits a variety of pie pans. This one is a multi-piece so that you can fit the pie pan of your choice. Just as a side note, most pie pans are 9 to 10 inches. There are a few that are 12 inch, and if you buy a Costco pie, it's a big, big pie pan. Those aren't normally available to sell, and I've had people say, my grandma's pie pan was this big, I want one that big. Chances are you were 4 when your grandma was making that pie and you thought it was that big. But check the recipes, because most of your recipes says a 9 or 10 inch pie pan. And there's always room to have lots and lots of pies. So let's say you were the pie baker and you need to take that pie somewhere. There are a variety of things to take them. This is one of them. This will hold a single pie. So you put your pie in here, snap the lids on, got your little handles, and you're ready to go. So those are some of the basics. I skipped over things like knives and cutting boards and all the things. But think about what you already have in your kitchen. Think about what you're going to fix. Think about what I love to hear is what their tradition is. I have a friend who always wants to do something different with vegetables, but by golly, her family always has chocolate pot de creme because their neighbors did. We live in New Mexico. Our Thanksgiving always includes red chili to go on the mashed potatoes and green chili as a side. So figure out what you like the best. Figure out what are non-negotiables for you. Figure out what you can assign or what you can buy pre-done. Count backwards from the time you want to serve and see if you can get it all done. If push comes to shove, the Butterball turkey people, I'll try and look it up and put it in my notes. Butterball has something called the Turkey Hotline. It's open for like a week before Thanksgiving to a couple days after. And if you are partway through and you are just panic stricken that you've done something wrong, they will walk you through what you need to do. It's very fun. They have great stories to tell. But if you're like, what do I do now? That's the place to call. The reason to show you all these things, we've met a lot of people over the years who always borrowed their neighbors or their mothers or whatever, and then realized, oh my gosh, they moved and I'm responsible for producing Thanksgiving this year. So we want you to have the best Thanksgiving possible. Remember, it's all about your family and your friends and giving thanks for the good things in life. If the food turns out funny, you'll have great stories to tell for years to come. So Now We're Cooking can help you out with many of your Thanksgiving necessities. We are open from 12 to 4, we're open from 11 to 4, Monday through Saturday. We'll be open again Friday till 6. We're trying to do Friday afternoon, 4 to 6 open. So we can help you get all your things. Give us a call, stop by, ask us questions. We'll do our best to help you, and we wish you the happiest of Thanksgivings. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.